Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on the VIE scheme. This is a webinar that we're doing in English. Sometimes we do it in French, and I know there's a few people here attending that are French, and so bienvenue également. We're waiting for the French ambassador to join us, so we're going to reverse the order of the protocol. Normally, the ambassador speaks first and I speak next. But if you don't mind me talking first, I will explain what Business France does. Some of you may know already. And we are a public agency reporting to two different ministries, and we have three different jobs. One of our first job is to help French companies export to Ireland. So whenever a French company has a product or service that they want to sell to a different country, well, we help that company by presenting to them all the people that may be interested. Our second job is to help Irish businesses set up in France, and we've been quite successful in the last years on this specific scheme. And we have a third job, which is to promote and help young people find international experience abroad. In that case, that would be Ireland. And so we will describe the scheme to you a little bit later, so I'm not going to enter very much on that subject. It's called the VIE program. I think it's a fantastic program for youngsters. I know my kids, my own kids dream of being a VIE when they finish their studies, and I think all their friends as well. And so we want to spread the word that it's a fantastic opportunity. I also think it's a fantastic opportunity for Ireland because it brings international profiles to the country. And then, as you know, once a French company sends a VIE to Ireland, the next step is to set up a company there. So it's a win-win for everyone. I don't know if the ambassador has difficulty connecting, but in the meanwhile, I don't know if I should continue. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. And Karen, who's here on screen with me, say hello, Karen. Can you see?
Good morning. They can hear me for now, but they will be able to see me a little bit later.
Okay. And so if you have any questions, Karen can see them in the chat, and then she will ask questions to all of us at the end of the session. While we're waiting for the ambassador to connect, and I hope he's not having technical issues to connect, may I continue, or Karen, maybe you want to start presenting a little bit the VIE program, and then while waiting for the ambassador, because I really want the ambassador to hear the testimonials of all our guests today, which I thank a lot for being with us. You are the best witness to the VIE program, so you're the clue of the show, and I really want the ambassador to hear you. If he doesn't hear me, that's fine. He hears me enough. So Karen, do you want to say a few words about the VIE program?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Geraldine. Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Soman. I'm the person in charge, actually, of the VIE scheme for the United Kingdom and Ireland, but we're talking about Ireland here today. For those who don't know what's the VIE program for us, it's an international corporate talent scheme. As Geraldine mentioned earlier, what we do is first help French company to export their business abroad, but also we do help Irish company to actually extend their business in France. But in case of the VIE, it's a program that actually helps young professional, young graduates who decide to have an international experience to be able to work for you, actually, French companies or eventually other companies, Irish that established in France, to have businesses in Ireland. And the way we organize this program is, yes.
May I stop you for a second?
Oh, I see
the ambassador just
has joined us.
Hello and welcome, Mr. Ambassador. This is Vincent Guérand, everyone, and he will continue on that subject. We started not to lose people, but welcome to this webinar, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much for being here with us. And then please, can you say a few words of introduction? I think your microphone needs to be open.
Sorry, do you hear me properly?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cher Géraldine, dear colleagues and friends, sorry for being a little bit late. I'm just coming out of another meeting, but I'm delighted to be with you this morning to discuss about the VIE, the VIE, and how to make the best of this wonderful program. So I'll just say a few words, but again, glad to take part and glad that so many interesting experiences will be shared with you this morning. I think in particular of people dealing with and managing VIE on a daily basis. I see the names of Susan Green from Servier, Daniel Doherty from the Société Générale, Florian de Cotreau from LinkedIn, also Leah Biaggi from the Chamber of Commerce, and of course Karen from the VA service. But so my main message would be that VIE as a program is a success story. It's a success story certainly for France, but also for Ireland and more globally. And it's probably in Ireland still one of the best hidden secrets. And the purpose of this meeting today is to share this secret with a broader public because it's really worth it. And the VIE program is about talent, as said before, and it's really about a win-win cooperation between young graduates and a company. And if you look back at the figures here in Ireland, it's pretty amazing. You will see it later on in the presentation. I will just give you three figures. Back in 2000, the previous program, which was keen to VIE, was already in place, and we had 10 of them in Ireland. In 2015, there were 50. This year, we're close to 100, and our objective is to have as many as 150 in the couple of years to come. And so we have this exponential growth, which by the way, comes like a hand in glove with the Irish growth, and which is, I think, really in the best interest of all. And I think the seminar today is also designed, this was our idea, to try to demystify some of the maybe cliches around this program. Maybe thought in the past that it was just for men. Now it's also for women, that it was just for French nationals. Untrue. It's also for European citizen, EU citizen. That it was just for large companies. Again, it's not true. Small and medium-sized companies certainly can also access and have access to VIEs. And lastly, that there was a lot of red tape. It was very heavy in terms of HR management, and I am sure that the various practitioners will tell you that this is not the case. So I'll just conclude by saying that I'm delighted that this seminar takes place. The idea is really to be hands-on, to really explain how it works. I'm sure and I'm confident that following this seminar, more companies will recruit VIEs. Currently, we have some very large French companies having as many as 10 or 12 of them. But the idea is to broaden the scope and to have more small and medium-sized company considering recruiting these young talents. And again, I would be extremely happy if following this seminar and in the weeks and months to come, Business France gets a request for recruitment, because again, it will be in the best interest of the businesses and of the young graduates. So I'll stop here, but glad to follow the presentation, and back to you, Géraldine and Karen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for your words. We have a common ambition to have 150 of these VIE talents in Ireland in 2023. And I have presented Business France already. We reversed the order of what we do. And as you said, we have the pleasure to have today with us Suzanne Green from Servier. So I am handing the mic over to her. Thank you so much for being here with us, Suzanne. If you could say a few words.
My pleasure, Geraldine. Thank you so much. So yeah, look, delighted to be here to share our experience from Servier. As Geraldine said, my name is Suzanne Green. I'm head of HR and training here at Servier Ireland. We're a French pharmaceutical company. We have a manufacturing site here in Arklow in County Wicklow with about 500 employees currently on site. And we've been here on site since 1989, so over 33 years now in Arklow, and we've been using the VIE program for over 25 years. And really what I'd love to say today is it's just been a really great experience for us, engaging and using the program with huge amount of success stories, I would say personally, and from the talent side of things as well, but some great personal stories as well, which I'll share one or two. In Servier, we have quite a unique culture, I guess. We're really people focused here in Servier, and over the years, in the 25 years that we've been engaging with the program, we've welcomed more than 50 VIEs to our doors here in Servier in Arklow. We currently have, I heard some of the numbers there earlier, we currently have 7 VIEs in our staff here on site, and also a number of ex-VIEs. So we have 4 members of staff here who were previously VIEs, who remained on after their VIE contract and took on Servier contracts and are now working permanently with us. So we've 4 people in our staff who were previously VIEs and 7 VIEs at the moment. From our side of things, I guess, look, really it's a symbiotic relationship is what I call it. A huge benefit, I would say, for the company and for the individuals. What we found really is that a huge range of skill sets have been brought to our site through the VIE program. We've had VIEs from all across the site, all different departments. Currently in our 7 VIEs, we have people in supply chain, finance, quality, EHS, communications, performance, and we're currently recruiting a number more in our HR and technical departments. So really right across the site, really varied skill sets within the team, and really adding a great diversity element, I suppose, into our team here in terms of skills. We're seeing people from different educational backgrounds, from different qualifications, from different universities, different types of courses, I suppose, that we would see in Ireland. So really, in terms of skills, quite diverse, and some unique skill sets that, you know, may be a bit more difficult to employ in our local market, but also culturally. Really, you know, bringing a really good cultural element to the site as well, with people from all across Europe have joined our teams over the years, and really complementary to our Irish team on site, which I suppose will be primarily local to the area, but certainly to Ireland. So really a good cultural diversity element being brought to the team here as well. And what I would say is, look, these guys that we've had on site are a really highly motivated group of highly qualified professionals, and many have worked, not just graduates, I would say, many have worked also previously in other companies, other industries, so bringing a really good level of expertise and experience as well. Not all graduates, so really bringing good experience from industry. So really fully integrated into our team here on site, bringing huge value, and I would say contributing really significantly to help us to bring patients to our products. Maybe just in terms of development and some nice stories, I guess, that we've had on site. We're really focused on developing people here on site in Servier, and we've had some great opportunities from the VIE pool that we've had on site. We've had 3 of our VIE pool who have joined our senior leadership team. So one lady became our head of finance, one of the guys became our head of production, and I suppose our really good success story with the VIE program is our current GM. So Mr. Augustin Blanc, who is our current GM on site, he joined Servier 17 years ago. He joined as a VIE in our IT department here in Arklow. So he's worked within the group over the last 17 years in various positions around the world, but he returned to us in 2017 at the GM of our site. So look, really good, I would say, you know, really good for him personally, and really good for him to come back to our site, knowing people from the site, knowing the business, and just bringing a really good dynamic to our site on site. Some nice personal stories as well. We've had 2 of our VIEs who've married Irish guys and gone on to raise their families in Ireland. So look, it shows really the VIE program becoming fully integrated into the company and into the Irish culture. So some really good stories from us. Maybe just to end, just from the HR side of things, look, we all know, many of you around the table today are probably from HR. Look, we all know the current challenges we're having in recruitment in HR at the moment, I would say to employ all skill sets, not just specialised skill sets anymore, to employ all roles. We're certainly seeing it on site. I would urge anyone who is thinking about this or not thinking about it even up to now to seriously consider the VIE programme. It's an excellent source of talent. It also reduces the level of admin and management on recruitment. We've had a great relationship with Business France over the years, a huge amount of assistance and encouragement and promotion from Business France. And look, reducing any kind of admin or reducing the process around recruitment will certainly be welcomed by your HR moment. So all in all, look, a really good experience from us. We hope to continue with the programme for many years to come. Look, what I would say is I would be happy if anyone has any questions afterwards. I'd be happy to, if anyone wants to send me an email or put anybody in contact with me, I'd be happy to speak to anyone or to take any questions and give anyone our own experience or a bit of advice on it if that's needed. So look, that's it for me. Be happy to take any questions afterwards, but for now, look, thank you so much to Business France for inviting me to share our experience. And look, I'll hand you over to Daniel Doherty from Société Générale, who will share his experience. Thank you.
Many thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, so my name is Daniel Doherty. I'm the HR manager for Société Générale. We're it's relatively small. We're the security services division of the bank, so we're relatively small, just under 90 staff at the moment. And I've been at the group for about 9 years now, and we've always participated in the VIE program. In fact, it predates my time here. And at different times, we've had VIEs in all our departments: fund administration, trustee and depository, client services, risk and compliance, IT, finance, and HR, for example. It's been extremely successful for us. I would say the main incentive is really about getting access to high caliber candidates. Typically, the candidates that we hire have at least a master's degree, sometimes two. So really impressive level of educational attainment. Some also may have relevant experience, but overall, our focus in recruitment is very much on competencies, which are guided by the core values of the group. So we might have at head office for the recruitment for VIEs, we would use some psychometric testing, and then we'll do some competency-based interviews here locally. I think VIE candidates, by their very nature, tend to be open to experience and also very driven. So we've always had a lot of successful VIE hires. I would say it's an advantage to us for a number of reasons. On the one hand, it's important for us to have strong connections with head office, and it certainly helps having French nationals or French speakers. But we've also had VIEs from other countries, such as Italy and Spain at the moment, for example. And I think having VIEs adds to the diversity in the office, not just having different ethnicities, but staff coming from different cultures and having gone through different educational systems. Overall, I'd say we have quite a multicultural workforce here. And one of the ways we like to foster team spirit and social cohesion is we run a sports and social club, and we always get great participation from our VIEs who bring with them a lot of energy. And so, overall, we've had a very positive experience with the VIE program. So it's not a surprise that they remain a priority hire for the company. I was looking at the figures the other day, and in the past 7 years, we've converted 14 VIEs to permanent hires, at least 4 of whom have secure deployment at head office or other locations in France. And even just through the program itself, we had these awards for the VIE Grand Prix Awards. We had a winner last year, Anna Florin, and I think the winner of the inaugural Grand Prix Awards was a lady called Angeline Dubois. So they've done very well, and we're very proud that they won those awards. It's also nice to see from a personal point of view that we have a substantial number of VIEs who even if they don't continue on in the group, that they remain here in Dublin and get employment elsewhere. Obviously, sort of suggests that they've had a very positive experience themselves. So overall, I mean, when I was asked, I'm very grateful that Business France asked me to speak at this, and I felt it was, you know, an easy sell for me because it's a program that I just think it's a great offer for companies, and you know, I'd have absolutely no hesitation in recommending it to other companies if that's what they're considering. You know, as Suzanne said, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them afterwards. But that's it from me. So at the moment, then I'll pass you over to Leah Biaggi, who is Events and Services Executive at Frank Ireland Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Daniel. Hello, everyone. Delighted to be with all of you today to discuss this scheme. So my name is Leah Biaggi. I'm currently the Events and Service Executive at the French Island Chamber of Commerce. The French Island Chamber of Commerce is a non-profit member organization of around 170 member companies, and our mission is to support, enable, and empower strategic partnerships within the Franco-Irish business community. We organize around 25 informative and networking events per year, and our aim is to make the community grow. Personally, I started the chamber as an intern in February 2020, which 6 months later led me to accept a VIE contract of 2 years with the chamber. I had heard about the VIE contract because my predecessor himself was also a VIE, and I was delighted to accept such an offer. Because my studies have just concluded, and for me it meant securing a fabulous job for the next 2 years in Ireland, which I'd come to love, and working for a thriving organization. My days at the chamber are never the same. I oversee our different working groups' actions. I monitor the database and help with the accounts. I assist with planning for events and organize the communications going out. Very multifaceted job. I also help French companies wishing to set up here by putting them in contact with specialized members that can help with different aspects of setting up a company, be it looking for office space, HR resources, or the legal creation of the structure. Another thing is we often meet with French companies that have set up here and wish to participate even further in the community, get the word out, and our answer is often to tell them to become a member of the chamber, because through the membership, for which we have different categories that follow the size of the company, so startup, SMEs, and corporates. Through the membership, the company is guaranteed an easy access to our community through the many events that we organize, the ways to network with other members, be it offline and online, but also the chance to promote their services via our social media and newsletter. While it's been challenging the past 2 years, we were delighted to maintain and grow the membership for the past 2 years, and it has led us to seize and create opportunity of moving offices to a bigger and brighter space right in front of Mirren Square for those who know Dublin. And one of the reasons of this big move was for us to be able to offer what we call VIE hébergement space. So we've been offering this hot desk solution to companies sending their VIEs here in Dublin for the past few years, and it's been a great chance for VIEs to enjoy the heart of Dublin and be a part of the team. I'll explain a bit further. So on the logistics part, the VIE hébergement service guarantees a desk space, the access to facilities in the boardroom, but it's much more than this. When a company contracts a VIE hébergement with us, the company automatically becomes a member for a year, which in turn allows the young VIE, for example, such as myself, to enjoy the many benefits of the membership. So the events, the online promotion, the networking. And on the social aspect, we are a vibrant yet relatively small team of 3 persons. But that allows us to help if the VIE has questions on the scheme itself or an introduction to key contacts to make their setting up in Ireland a success. Because then the VIE is a full part of the team, and for CEOs or directors that are sending their VIEs abroad, it's often a relief to have the support on site. Even if my experience as a VIE is coming to an end in October, because it's already been 2 years, I have to say I have absolutely enjoyed every step of this adventure. For young professionals starting their career, it's a great opportunity to work and live abroad while still having a link to France, but you also get to be part of the VIE community, and you really feel the support from the Business France team who are always there to help, and you get to meet like like-minded people who will participate in the success of your mission. That's all for me. Thank you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send them my way. And I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Florian de Cotreau, Regional Account Manager at LinkedIn and President of Club VIE in Ireland.
Hi, all. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the introduction. So my name is Florian, and I'm talking to you today as a former VIE, because I started my adventure in Ireland for 5 years ago now, being a VIE for an aviation company. So it's a bit of a funny story. I was actually performing a master degree in Toulouse in south of France at the time. I really wanted to get a VIE, and fortunately the VIE formula is something which is quite well known in France. So my business school managed to bring few professionals within our business school in order to explain to us what the VIE means and why we would how we would be able to get it. At that time, there were some companies coming over to our business school to get students working on some projects. One of the projects was that aviation company wanted to open a subsidiary in China. Then I thought, this is mine, this is my thing. I need to get it. I need to get noticed by that former general manager. And I managed to build up an entire business plan for their setup of the subsidiary in China in order to be able to show them that it's actually working if you have the right resources on place. And what happened is that I actually brought to them the idea of using VIE as a first step within the country in order to get awareness of your business within a new country, a new culture, new business partners, make sure that those people are actually representing your brand as you wish overboard. And it actually worked out. After graduated from the business school, I managed to get that VIE within that aviation company. Funny fact is that I didn't know anything about aviation at the time. It was a complete new adventure for me. They didn't even look at the fact that I was not part of that industry yet. They just looked at my willingness of doing something good for them and building up a business overseas. So 2 weeks before I get my departure to China, unfortunately, they came back to me and say, we would actually need you to switch your plan and not go to China as a VIE, but go to another part, which is actually Ireland. And I really asked them, is that a joke? Because I really wanted to go to China. I built up the business plan for you guys. I was ready to start and go for it, you know? And they say to me that there is a specific community in Ireland that is called the leasing companies. I'm sure you've heard of it. That is worth to penetrate and to start building relationship with them. So I told myself, look, I wanted China. I learned Chinese for 3 years, maybe for nothing. It's fine. I'm just going to go to Ireland, get my VIE, because I really want to have that adventure. So then I moved to Ireland, and I knew nothing about Ireland. I had no colleagues on site, of course, no team, no offices. I started at the Chamber of Commerce, actually, at the time when they had that small office. That was a first step for me. Then, fortunately, business grew over during the years, so I managed to get my own office to set up a real subsidiary for that company in Ireland, in Dublin. I first contracted my VIE for 1 year, then I renew it for another year because, you know, it's 2 years maximum. But those 2 years have been incredible. They've been the most amazing years, professional years in my life, because I got to do anything by myself, to learn on the field, I just stopped asking questions to myself, like, why did I get that VIE? Why are you here? You just go for it. You just enjoy the fact that that company is actually giving you responsibilities. They are trusting you, trusting your ability to build up something on their behalf in another country. And this was the best feeling ever. And of course, into stepping into my international career, it was like kind of the start of my international career, but I knew it was the right stepping stone in order to continue working abroad. Because as a French person, I love my country, don't get me wrong, but I also fell in love with Ireland. And I really wanted to pursue a career in Ireland at that time. My VIE finished. The company asked me to come back to France with them and continue working with them on an unlimited contract. But I said no, because I really want to stay in Dublin. And I found my way into another type of organization, which is now called LinkedIn, that you may all know, I'm sure, today. As we mentioned earlier in the call, LinkedIn is a company that is really attracted to expat like us, interesting in having people who speak different languages, that have that different culture. And this is why I managed to got in LinkedIn as a regional account manager. Have been doing this for 2 years so far. I'm looking after the European and Middle East key accounts from LinkedIn. So I'm not only focused on the French market. This was actually my objective. I wanted to be able to continue dealing and building relationship with people from all over the world and businesses from all over the world. So this is why now I'm very, very happy at LinkedIn. Happy that I could continue working in Dublin, because the headquarters of LinkedIn is in Dublin. And on top of that, I just wanted to highlight one thing, is that the VIE formula is just the best way to challenge yourself as a person, as a junior professional, to live, of course, an amazing experience abroad, because you get to know people, to meet people, to really have a feeling of living abroad and being part of a new community. And this is why I actually decided to take over the presidency of the club of the VIE in Ireland, because I think I'm going to stay longer than I thought in Ireland. Eventually, China is not my dream anymore. I'm just very happy in Ireland. So I'm just going to stay in Ireland for a few years, and I'm going to take over that presidency of that VIE club, which is basically making sure that VIEs that have been to Ireland, even though they have stopped their mission, if they are still in Ireland on all the jobs, all the career paths, or even though they went back home, we want them to be part of our community, because once you're a VIE, you're always a VIE, and it's important to gather together, to feel stronger together, and to learn from each other. So the club is really, for this reason, it's really to make sure those people are connecting with each other, getting more opportunities business-wise at a later stage, and making sure we are enjoying all together. So that's it for me about my quick experience as a former VIE. Now I'm handing it over to Karen, who is gonna take it over.
Thank you very much, Florian, for that explanation and sharing your experience with us. Again, everybody, hi. I'm Karen Soman, and I'm in charge for Business France, UK and Ireland of the VIE program. So I'm the one in charge actually of promoting them to you. And also I manage the pool of talents I actually established in Ireland. I will explain to you later how many people do we have, because we were talking about Suzanne and Daniel talked about the number of people they have actually in their pool, but actually we have many more they're actually working for different types of companies. So I'm going to explain that to you. But for those who actually don't know what's the VIE scheme actually that we are actually putting into place in Ireland, it's actually a flexible program. The way it works is that actually all the VIE programs allows company, mostly French company, to send someone as Leah, for instance, or Florian used to be, in Ireland to work for a French company representing them locally. Those young professionals actually aged between 18 and 20 years old and usually do assignment between 6 months and 24 months, 24 months being the maximum. The way it's organized, because you might actually ask yourself, but how does it work? How can I get one? The fact is, Business France actually handles everything on your behalf. As a company, you don't have actually to think about, as we mentioned earlier, everything related to HR. The contract actually exists between you as a company and us business plans, and then business plans will actually help you sort out everything for you to get your VIE working in your pool of talent. It's a really simple form of contract. There's no contract actually existing between you as a company and your candidate that will actually work with you in the future. And something really, really important, the program is actually managed by the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it's actually kind of a protection that exists for companies as well for VIE when they actually enter your country to work with you. The type of company that actually can benefit from the VIE program, actually any company that actually a subsidiary or actually a headquarters in France. So you have to be a company with legal entity existing in France, and you can benefit from the VIE program. As a company, the size actually doesn't matter. The type of assignment, and we will talk about later, doesn't matter literally. And you can have actually an unlimited, at some point, depending on the size of your company, number of assignment. So if you want someone in HR or marketing, you can have actually both type of profile working with you. You should also know that the VIE, your future hire can actually work in any country you have. Let's just say, for instance, I take again the example of Daniel or Susan. They have different subsidiaries globally. Should the headquarters, let's just say, would like to send someone in the US or in Ireland or the UK, that's possible. You can also think about where you would like to send someone. There is no limit in terms of country or where you can send your future hire. If eventually you don't have the possibility to have an office here in Ireland, we can help you business funds to find an office, and Leah, for instance, from the Chamber of Commerce will help you on that matter. So there's actually no problem at all. If you need to have a representation here in Ireland, we will be able to provide something for you as a company. The next step, actually, because you might, as you say, think, but what type of assignment can we have when we would like to have a VIE? Actually, any industry can benefit from the VIE. Any type of assignment actually can apply. Would you like to have someone doing business development, market studies, HR, marketing, IT, engineering? You can find that type of profile. In terms of length of assignment, we mentioned that earlier, it's up to maximum 2 years, 24 months, and it's renewable actually once during those 24 months. Florian mentioned earlier that she started her assignment for 1 year, but she renewed it later on for a second year. So it's actually quite flexible for you. In terms of coverage, should you wish eventually to, let's just say, try new market, but you started with Ireland, you must know that we can help you actually be able to extend that to 8 different countries. Should you wish eventually to, let's just say, have the Nordic market on top of the Irish market, that's possible up to 8 countries. So your actually future hire will be able to travel without any issue and actually work on those markets. So that's not a problem at all. It's actually, as I mentioned earlier, quite flexible. And for smaller company, because sometimes it happens, some companies actually can work together and decide to share a VIE as well. So would you eventually think that it's not possible for you to have a VIE full-time? You can share the time between you and another company. And also, should you need to have your VIE trained in your headquarters? I take again example, for instance, for Société Générale with Daniel. Should they need to send their VIEs in the headquarters in France, the VIE actually can go back to France to be trained by the company up to 165 days per year to do so. In terms of the profile of our candidates, it's actually quite great. We actually have our own job board where you can find actually more than 48,000 profile motivated candidates that are actually willing to go abroad and to extend the experience. In terms of the average of the VIE, especially in Ireland, they are mostly between 25 and 28 years old. That's the average. And actually that depends mostly because of the type of industry that are actually present in Ireland. And most of them already have professional experience. We do have actually people that used to, after they graduate from their school, decide to have a professional experience in their own country before going abroad, coming to Dublin, for instance, and decide to work as a VIE. Half of them mostly are graduate from engineering or business school, so they have mostly a master degree. So a really, really good profile from them. And as I said earlier, professional experience, higher education. And as we say also, we don't have to think about only French citizens being able to do a VIE, but all citizens from the European Economic Area are eligible to participate to the program. In terms of costs, because that's something that might be actually quite interesting for you, because if you are a HR manager, you might think, but that might be costly for us to actually have some expats, some young talents coming from different countries, but actually not. The fact that it's a service provided by Business France. If we have to think on average what it will cost you per year, and I'm just saying that literally on average, for a VIE, and you have to think about what the VIE will gain every single month, which is the allowance, the administrative fee for Business France, of course, but also something you have to include into it is social protection, everything related to the medical. Business France will cover that for you. On average, it will be around 38, I think, thousand euro for all the cost. And you have to think about, as I said earlier, it will include the allowance, the social security, the travel to send your VIE from his home country or her home country to your place of assignment, as well as the return ticket at the end of the assignment. Everything actually is taken care of by Business France. So when you have to think about the cost, it's actually compared to a regular cost, or eventually the cost of hiring an expert. If you have to think about visa, if they're coming outside the European Union, of course, that could be quite expensive, which is not the case with the VIE program. And actually, the advantage of that program, as I mentioned, is protected by the French government. The Ministry of the Foreign Affairs covers everything related to the protection. The VIE depend on the French embassy. We actually, at some point, every VIE that starts its assignment or her assignment in the country, we kind of force them to register with the embassy for them to be able to know everything related to France, everything related to their country. And if they are not French people, they are still protected by that program as soon as they start their assignment. And also, at the end, as you can say, Florian is a perfect example for that. There is a big opportunity for them to have an international career. Some of the VIs are actually in Ireland, went back for some in their home countries, some stay in Ireland, and some had other careers worldwide. Technically, mostly at the end of each assignment, everybody usually on average 92 to 94% get an offer at the end of their assignment. Of course, they don't have to choose it if they want to, but they get an offer literally up to 92 to 94%. So it's a great opportunity in terms of recruitment. Should you eventually decide to try before having someone permanent, let's just say at the end of the assignment, it's a good opportunity for companies, should they need to hire someone, to try a VIE for a certain amount of time, 6 months to 24 months, to decide if that person can stay with you, with your team, or decide eventually to transfer them to another department, another company. So it's a really, really well-known program that actually works. And actually, Business France, on top of protecting the VIEs when they're doing their assignment, we do also have, it's actually quite an ideal HR solution. And we also, especially this year, help companies to increase their pool of talent, because we decide at the end of 2020 to launch a stimulus check to help companies, mostly SMEs, but also it's available for large corporations, to benefit from support from the French region, from Business France, to help you hire VIEs. We created this stimulus check for SMEs from £5,000 if they decide to internalize, to export their business abroad, and for bigger corporations if they decide to actually recruit young professionals coming from priority neighborhood or in short-term training courses, and that can go up to 10,000 euro. In terms of financial support, let's just say your company comes from a different part of France, the regions can actually help you in terms of financial support up to 100%. So you might actually have no cost at all should you need to hire a VIE. We extended the stimulus check until the end of this year, so up to the 15th of December, for all the assignment that will be done by May 2023. I'm going to come back to Ireland specifically in terms of international corporate talent, how it is and how it evolved. And the ambassador mentioned that earlier, that we actually had an increase of numbers of VIEs since the program started in Ireland. We started with 11 people, and now we are close to 200. We have actually this month 98 active talents working for 37 companies. Actually, someone asked in the chat, because I was looking earlier, what type of sector actually are recruiting. As I said, any industries actually can have VIEs. Most of them in Ireland are finance, insurance, and tech, health and beauty, clean tech, energy, agrotech, but we can actually have a VIE for any type of industry. I usually say that if you have a need, we can find a solution. If you have an industry you think might not exist, I'm pretty sure in our pool of talent, there is someone we can find for you that will be able to help. And to explain that, we do have the people that trust us. As you can see, different type of companies, different type of industry. We have Safran, L'Oréal, Amundi, Neos, just to name a few that actually working with us and that trust us with this program. I'm going to give again the floor to Geraldine for some concluding words, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Karen. Maybe the ambassador wants to say a few words before we conclude, but before I want to know if there are some questions. So Karen, you're the master of question. Maybe people do have questions for the ambassador. And while you do, check if there are questions. And before I give the floor to the ambassador, just say that the stimulus check is called the Chèque Relance Export in French, for those of you who are listening to us in French, and that some of the regions, yes, do sponsor the VIE program 100%. You can't get 100% of VIE for free plus the chèque relance. So obviously, okay, it has to, this is a maximum, but if you hire your company from Corsica, for example, you will get a free VIE to come to Ireland. Any questions, Karen?
We had actually too, but we talked about that earlier. Someone asked, do you need to have a relationship with France to have a VIE? Yes, actually, there's the need to have a legal entity because the program is actually managed by the French government. So yeah, you need to have that as a start to be able to have a VIE in Ireland. And the second question we have is, which sectors are recruiting the most in Ireland? I said earlier it was finance, insurance, and tech, but you can actually have a VIE for any type of industry. Those are the two questions we have in the chat, but feel free to ask other questions. I will be able to read them out loud if you're listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Do you want to say a few words to conclude?
Yes, merci, Charlene, and thank you all, Karen and Suzanne and Danielle and Leah, for sharing your experience with the VIE program. Again, the main objective of this webinar was to explain that this is something really easy to manage, which is of a huge benefit for both the business, the company, but certainly also the young talents. And something which has been so successful, as said before, that many of those young graduates then stay in the company or certainly have a very bright future elsewhere, as shown. And it's really easy to handle, as I think was explained. And if there's no question by participants today, I'm very grateful for Susan and Daniel for having proposed to answer any further question later on, and in how, again, on a daily basis, such young graduates can be recruited and then managed from a HR point of view. So thank you all. Just spread this good news around you. I keep also in my various encounter with businesses here say how much I believe that the extraordinary expansion over the last 20 years, as described on the presentation, is something I'm I'm happy about and proud about, but this can continue and should continue for the benefit of all. So thank you for your kind attention, and back to you, Geraldine.
Thank you so much. Well, nothing. I think we can just conclude. Thank you all for listening. You can watch the replay as much as you want whenever it's ready.